Welcome to the VEROSCOPE analysis today of Jenn Soto, who is the mother of Madeline Soto, who, if you're new to the case, was a just 13-year-old who was murdered by Stephan Sterns, who has been given 21, I believe, life sentences without the possibility of parole. And we are analysing the interview of her mother, Jenn Soto, for deception. And we've gone through various VEROSCOPE analysis of Jenn Soto, and we've seen deception all over her statements. And so we're going to continue on with quite a difficult part of the interview. We're going to be watching these officers interview her. It's got to the stage of the interview where the subject matter is quite difficult. So if that isn't for you today, then I would advise you to skip the video. It's going into some detail. So without going too far into the analysis, we do see direct admission from Jenn of surveillance. We see her say, referring to Madeline, watching her like a hawk. We see admission of failed prevention. We see acceptance of inappropriate conduct. We see leaked truth through abandoned sentences, not just sentence. And we see contradiction. We see specific timeline knowledge from Jenn and a complete absence of a reliable denial. In effect, we also see an admission, and we see very strong consciousness of guilty knowledge as to what was going on between Stephan and Madeline. And even in the last video, we saw Jenn state that she sent them upstairs. So let's carry on with the difficult part of the video, and I'll try to avoid some of the words which obviously YouTube don't like, and if you can try to avoid some of those in the comments as well, that would be appreciated.
I promise you,
because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing out there? What if somebody took her? I still want.
And you'll notice the police officer there moved his head in disbelief. We've covered this part in the previous analysis, so we're just playing the last minute of what we did cover, and then it continues on, just in case you missed the last analysis. Here we have an admittance that she thinks what has happened is fine.
To believe I believed him. I believed his whole story. So I was just like, I kept repeating that part. I'm just like, what if she did get dropped off? What if she got abducted? What if she's missing? But that was me assuming that you guys had the wrong guy. I wanted to think he was the good guy still, but clearly he's not. After everything you guys have told me and have shown me, I know he's the worst person on this.
Madeline's body at this stage during this interview has not yet been discovered, although photographic evidence that leads the police to believe that she's passed away has been discovered on Stephan's phone. Jenn has been made aware of the existence of this evidence, although there is still the police have given Jenn, because there is no body discovered, the possibility that she might still be alive. So we need to bear those circumstances in mind when we hear her linguistics. The point of this analysis, and the point of all of the analysis which we've gone through, and we've gone through maybe 9 or 10 so far. If you haven't seen those, do look back on the VEROSCOPE channel for them. The point of the analysis is to discover the truth, the possibility of justice for Madeline, and the possibility that in that journey of discovering the truth, law enforcement might be able to take some of that knowledge in any preparation that they might have and any decision that they might have going forward with regards to charges.
You know that now. We know he's a piece of shit now.
You know.
But you didn't know that then.
I didn't.
Then you offered a guy who the police suspected of kidnapping, abducting, assisting the disappearance, offered him a lawyer. And then we don't have to roundtable that. You went back to what you just said is the sex stuff is fine.
It's not fine.
Hold on. I know every relationship is different, and I know everybody's family is different. I won't ask, but going back on, has he expressed interest in? I'll use the word weird. I'm not going to shame anybody for what they like. Different sexual pleasures, different sexual experiences, different kinks that involve things you weren't comfortable with.
The only thing he's ever expressed to me was like anal.
Okay.
He had an anal kink and like butts.
Okay.
But that was something I was never comfortable with or doing, and I let him know that. Like that's not something.
It's fine. You guys slept in the same bed together. Stephen was a big portion of your life at one point. Stephan was a big portion of your life at one point. And this is not me coming at you as a person or a bad person, because shit happens in the past. In the past, the past. We can't change the past. Has he ever expressed to you any? Never. Has he ever made these statements about made you feel different?
No.
Okay. When you guys slept in the same bed together, in the middle, did you ever wake up and find them cuddling? Did you ever wake up and find them closer than you thought they should be?
They would snuggle, yeah.
Okay.
But we all snuggle. I didn't think that was abnormal.
So if you guys are sleeping in the same bed and she's in the center, you've woken up and they're snuggling. They're under the same blanket. They're not under the same blanket.
No.
But just like
she's got her own blanket.
Spooning for what? What is snuggling to you? Because to me, snuggling, spooning, big spoon, little spoon.
Okay, that's a good question. Ideally, when we're looking at statement analysis and forensic linguistics, we attempt to make the questions clean questions. In other words, we don't contaminate using language or influence the answer. So asking her, what does snuggling mean to you, is an excellent question. We'll notice that Jenn avoids some of the questions, which is a deceptive marker. We'll be going through the analysis momentarily. For those who have been following VEROSCOPE for a while, see how many deceptive markers you get, because we probably miss at least half of them in each analysis. So put them in the comments when you see them, please.
He would lay down like this, and she would be right here in the nook.
Okay. How do you guys sleep? You guys sleep clothed, unclothed? I sleep clothed. Yeah. Shirt, pants, pajama sets.
Yes.
Everybody.
I sleep in like my everyday clothes.
Okay.
On pajamas or baggy t-shirts and shorts.
Okay.
And Stephan would sleep with his t-shirt or boxers, sometimes with his pants on, but he didn't have pajamas.
Okay, so they would snuggle, sometimes him being in his boxers. You would wake up and she'd be in the nook of his arm, essentially in a cuddling position. And you never found that weird?
No.
Okay. Again, you and I may find things different. Why? And I don't want you to look back on it, because now you know you victimized her for a long time, right? Under your roof. With you home, most likely, because you said you're always home. You just got this job. You've been living off disability. I know the Kissimmee Police Department has showed you pictures. I know they've verbally explained to you some pictures. I can tell you that today, we are still downloading his Google Drives. We are still going through his social medias, his cloud-based servers, and everything else. And we can now piece back her victimization in your house under your care to 2020. I believe we've gone as far back as in when she...
That would make the child about 8.
So when I ask, they've woken up cuddling, did you find things suspicious? Did you have an open relationship? Did he talk to you? Has he made inappropriate statements? It's almost like cheating, right? Like, have you ever been cheated on? Okay. Somebody can only cheat on somebody for so long until they fuck up, or until something comes out, or somebody says something, right? So we go back to 2020, we're looking at a minimum of 3.5 years. 3.5 years where I'm sure you guys are sexually active. You guys. Yes. So for 3.5 years under your care in your house, not only was he being sexually active with you, he had a sexual relationship.
Oh my God.
And I know it's an emotional thing, and I know it sucks to hear, but where I'm coming from is it seems like something that you can't hide forever. You guys live in a small space, close quarters, you sleep in the same bed, you guys all talk, you guys all share things, you're an observant person for the most part, I assume. Outside of taking medications and going to sleep, it seems very difficult. A lot of grown-ass adults can't hide an affair with somebody who doesn't live with them, let alone somebody who does live with them. So at a certain point, I do believe you became aware of what was going on.
No.
And when I say that, it doesn't mean you're in trouble. It doesn't change.
So notice there's no real denial there. We heard a yeah about adults can't hide affairs, and we just saw a no, and we heard a singular no. No real denial, no reliable denial. I believe fully that she has consciousness of guilt.
I know, but
But I do believe that a reasonable person, and I consider you a reasonable person, right? Do you think you're a reasonable person?
yes.
Would be aware that under her roof, sexual relation.
I had no idea.
The videos, the text messages, the images, they're all documented forever. This has been an ongoing thing. And at her age, I think she probably thought they were in a relationship. She probably thought they were in love because he her male attention, right? She just started liking boys, right? She just got a crush. Up until then, her
Okay, so the crying stopped and the relaxing has started. Did you see that?
crush.
It's being redacted because of the mentioning of Madeline's name.
At the same time, you guys are sleeping in the same bed together. You guys are all cohabitating. She's not sleeping in her room. But you felt the need to establish a rule that they couldn't sleep in the same room. But when you established that rule, for 3 years, she's already been dating him, essentially. Whether that's legal or not.
I had no idea.
So I truthfully believe, and this is my belief, I'm not speaking for other detectives, I'm not speaking for the sheriff's office, the state police department, or any other agency I've said. This is Kevin's belief. I believe that you became aware of their sexual relationship. I think at a certain point throughout this relationship, you became aware of it, and for whatever reason, your reasons are your reasons, whether it was discussed that it would stop, whether it was discussed how it would go, that you feel some sense of guilt. A lot of the news statements you've given kind of...
Did you see when the detective said you feel some sense of guilt? She shook her head. Did you see that? That's abnormal. She shook her head about some sense of guilt. Now, an innocent mother whose child is missing, likely murdered, having discovered what's happened, all of them would feel some sense of guilt. Only the guilty and almost I'm obviously not qualified to talk about her mental health, but to have no sense of guilt, I'm quite sure can be categorized.
Again, my opinion only, I don't speak for anybody else, whether it's in this room or out of this room, bother me. It seems like some of your emotion, up until this room, I think some of the emotion in this room is sincere. I think a lot of it's because I'm being an asshole, and I'm telling you things you don't want to hear that shouldn't be said out loud. But when you talk to the news, when you talk to deputies, it feels, based on my experience in this job, that it's not sincere. I feel like some of your sadness is not real sadness. I feel like when you gave the interview with Fox 35, it was not sincere. Looking at that video one time, I didn't feel like your cries were sincere. And I'm not saying that because you're a bad person. I feel like sometimes people struggle to show real emotion when they're aware of what the truth is. So it has to be fake. This is your demise for the past, let's say, 5 years, right? But her going missing, her disappearance, if you have knowledge of how it happened, where it happened, an inclination, that emotion's not going to feel sincere because you're already aware of what happened.
I would.
It's almost becomes a lie at that point.
If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the fuck you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. I was oblivious to everything. 4 years?
Minimum. That's just how that far back the cloud goes. And I find it hard to believe for me that you were so worried about how many pills she took at night, but not where she slept or what relationship she was. His interest in her.
I thought we were all safe. I thought because that he hadn't shown me anything so far, like everything seems fine. Like he seemed like he treated her like
he treats you. In his mind.
It's so fucking disgusting.
So now he's in jail because of what we found on his phone, not because somebody came forward and reported that he was abused.
No, I know.
She's not old enough to consent. She's not old enough to have a thought process to even want anything that was happening to her. It's abuse. So he's in jail for that, but something caused what happened, right? We certainly murder, because we can call it a murder. She didn't die naturally. She didn't overdose. She didn't have a heart attack. We circled murder on Monday. Something had to cause that. He's been having unrestricted sexual activity for a long time. He's getting what he wants from her, probably from you, and who knows whoever else, right? So it's not like he woke up or went to bed Sunday and he was like, you know what? I'm done with this, but I'm going to kill her. Something happened. People don't just wake up and like, you know what? They leave people. They break up with people. But usually things cause people to snap. Now, what? You know what? And I'm in trouble. Or I feel like I'm going to... Or him being out. We can go even worse. She's pregnant.
That's what questions last night led me to believe when we started talking about her period.
I was told that her and her friend, and granted, I'm male, never had a period, but that somebody found it weird that they were no longer on the same cycle. Could be different because she's a teenage girl. Could be that she missed her period. Have you ever found a pregnancy test at home that wasn't yours?
I have 2 underneath the bathroom sink, but I haven't seen if they're still there or not.
Okay. But you haven't seen any used ones in the trash?
No.
Their relationship hasn't changed?
No.
Okay. So what do you think happened Sunday? Other than him killing her. What do you think made him snap?
I don't know. Theories, I keep hearing.
Tell me your theories, because here's the deal. We don't go home until she's found.
No, I know.
So what are your theories?
What I've heard is, what if she upset him and threatened to tell me and say that she was going to tell me, and he needed to shut that down. That's the only thing.
What do you think?
I don't want to believe he killed her. But when you guys are telling me he must have killed her Sunday night and snuck her body out in the morning. That photo you guys showed me of her slumped in the car.
So she thinks that he snuck the body out in the morning. And we know in the previous analysis of various videos that she heard banging in the kitchen as she's hiding under the duvet.
You don't want to believe he killed her.
I want to believe she's still alive and that she got kidnapped, but that doesn't seem like that's the case at all.
Yeah.
I know, my brain just wants to believe something else. I just want to believe she's still alive, she's out there.
Okay, we've been watching the fake crying of Wendy, haven't we, and the fake crying of the others on the VEROSCOPE channel. I agree with this police officer. This is fake crying.
Did he tell you he fucked up?
No. He acted so normal that day. He was like, I'm so impressed. We got out of the house so early. Like, she made great time. We had so much time to go to McDonald's, but she didn't want to.
So don't forget, Jenn went along with this made-up story of getting up early so that they could go to McDonald's. And Stephan to drive her to school for the first time. This was not a normal morning. It's my absolute conviction, having analysed her statements, that she is fully aware of everything.
His story was so like, every detail was so believable. He's just been lying this whole time. Like,
What about that day in the car when you offered him a lawyer? Did he disclose anything to you there that made you feel like, oh fuck, he needs a lawyer?
No. He kept acting like he
Notice how the crying can immediately turn on and off depending on the question.
didn't know what was happening, and I'm like, don't you see forensics? Don't you see they took your phone? Like, something's happening. Like, I think they're gonna pin this on you. And I'm like, in my head, I'm going, they have the wrong guy. Like, they're just honing in on the last person who saw her. But no, you guys knew more.
You never said, what did you do?
So here we have a mother saying to the boyfriend, who she's continuing to help hide the crime, saying, I think they're going to pin this on you. Can you imagine an innocent mother ever saying that and not, well, I'm literally lost for words.
I've never asked him any of that. I still, even up until when we got here to the police station, I was convinced that he hadn't done anything to her at all.
Because of him or because of not wanting to believe she's deceased?
Because of him. Because I thought he was a good guy.
So up until this morning, you still think that it's not?
No.
You're talking about the other day?
Up until
when we took him?
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot what day of the week that was.
So we're still going through his phone, his drive, like I told you, all his socials. We can date back to 2020. Based on the videos, it appears that was the start of the victimization. Okay, are we going to find anything in his phone with you?
No. We never done anything. We've never done anything.
Has there ever been a request for the two of you to participate in sexual activity with him?
No.
Regardless of you saying no or yes?
No, he's never asked that.
Okay. If we find pictures like that, is that going to surprise you? So if I'm in his Google Drive, if I have a sex crimes detective, a computer person look at his phone, and they tell me, hey Kevin, I found a picture engaged in sexual activity or borderline sexual activity, is that going to surprise you?
Yes, because that doesn't exist.
Okay. At any time during the course of your relationship, has he expressed that he has ever had sex with a child?
No.
Notice that she said that that didn't happen. She said that those photos don't exist. That's a big difference.
Not a child, but when he told me when he was in high school, he graduated high school like later, like older than 18.
Okay.
He dated somebody younger than 18. I think she was 15. But I don't know how old he was, 19, 20. But he was an older kid in high school. He graduated late. But he had a really young girlfriend. Her name was Kendall. And I thought that was weird. I was like, that's a little too young. He goes, no, it's fine. We were in high school. Everything was normal. Her parents loved me. Blah, 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 blah. But that's the only one.
Have you ever gone through his phone?
Whom
Okay. If you had, knowing Stephan, knowing where he lives, knowing where he goes, how he conducts his life, give me your top 5. Because I know you've had to have thought about it. If you haven't thought about it, that's another weird thing I got. Since Monday, right? We told you on Wednesday that we think he did it.
Yeah.
So from Wednesday till today, it's about 48 hours. Give me your top 5 places you think are possibilities based on knowing him, based on knowing his path of travel. Where do you think, and it doesn't have to be based on evidence, just in your gut, give me your top 5 places where you think he could.
In this area?
Doesn't have to be this area.
No, I know.
Anywhere you want.
I'm saying.
Okay, let's go through the analysis. So, she says, I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. You cannot watch for what you don't know exists. This is an admittance. Think about it. I tried watching her like a hawk. This admits that you're aware that you failed. I tried. Watching her like a hawk. We're talking about the circumstances which the police officer has described to her. These are her words. I thought I was doing a good job. The job which you tried and failed to do and even accept and state, but I wasn't. This is admittance of consciousness of guilt. The active surveillance for a known threat, tried watching, like a hawk, it's a metaphor for a predator, danger watching. Thought I was doing a good job at self-evaluation of the prevention efforts, which she knew were necessary. And not only that, she knew they were necessary, but sent them upstairs. And this isn't, something that was new. This is something that's been going on for years. So far, she's not been charged. But I wasn't. Admission of failure to prevent. So when a subject provides information that contradicts their claimed position, we believe the information given, not the position claimed. Jennifer claims ignorance while describing active surveillance, attempted prevention, and acknowledged failure. And if you look at the last analysis we did, we have a clear, open admission that she sent them upstairs together. These admissions are impossible to reconcile with her claimed lack of knowledge. So, the admissions of knowledge. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but wasn't. The detective states 3.5 years. I'm going to leave out some of the language, but obviously you can read it. She has specific knowledge of when it began. Only someone tracking it would correct 3.5 to 4 years minimum. I do apologize if there's been a transcription error there. They would snuggle, yeah. They would. So in statement analysis, we recognize when we see sensitivity or cognitive overload. She admits there's a regular pattern of physical intimacy between an adult man and a child. And she's got acceptance language and tone. She says, but we all snuggle. I didn't think that was. So here we have the cognitive overload stutter, the hiding in the crowd, deflecting responsibility. We have self-censorship, not normal. I didn't think that was normal, and I think this was going to be normal. But she abandons it, recognizing that she's just made an error. She's self-censoring. I think it's an accidental confession here. Hold on, she said. Again, sensitive because of the repeated pattern. We have a control attempt by her. When she says this, and then she had to correct herself because obviously it's not fine. We have a complete absence of denial, and therefore in this sort of circumstance, an absence of denial is as good as an admission, especially from a mother. And this was just so wrong, wasn't it? To accept that the murder was evil, but everything else was fine. That tells us her state of her attitude to it. The murder was evil, but everything else was fine, is what she told us. So, it's almost become I knew. If I knew anything, I promise you I would tell you. So we have, for those who have been following VEROSCOPE, we have the pattern of deception, which you're beginning to know now. The would means not necessarily that you will. I would, self-censorship, break of cognition. It's almost become Self-censorship break. I knew. Here is possible leakage. If I knew anything. So here we have I knew, eek, self-censorship, start again. If I knew anything, mini break, self-censorship, I promise you I would tell you. Unnecessary language, convincing language, using and repeating the word would, I would, being sensitive. The entire sentence is deceptive, full of deception flags. This is an unreliable denial. Every word is qualified. She cannot form a complete denial statement due to deceptive stress. But I don't know anything, she says. Don't know, not didn't know. Anything is hugely vague under these circumstances. Maximum vagueness. She doesn't address the actual specific allegation. It's too broad to be reliable. It's just a technical truth statement. I don't know anything. It's also present tense, isn't it? Tenses are very important in statement analysis, or otherwise we get this linguistic sleight of hand. I sleep clothed, yeah. Shirt, pants, pajama sets, yes. Here it was slightly difficult to, because of the redaction with Madeline's name being mentioned, the editor, because she hadn't been found at that stage, I believe the editor was removing the name. She also didn't, from memory, answer the question entirely, and she began with what she wore. Excessive detail for self. We look at percentages very often. So a person, to avoid the lie, will spend a large percentage of the answer in safe ground. So the safe ground to Jenn was what she was wearing, avoiding what Madeline and Sterns were wearing. So we would, if we were doing a proper forensic analysis, we would go into far more detail. But as a principle, we have a high percentage of safe answer versus what could possibly be sensitive answers. The only thing he's ever expressed to me, etc. She's avoiding the question, the real question. I was oblivious to the every I'm speeding up certain sections. So we've got a lot of stuttering and repetition due to cognitive strain, extreme sensitivity at deception points. We've got a lot of self-censoring through abandoned sentences, a lot of conditional language, I would, if I knew, willing to, future promises, single word denials, no, no. I'll tell you what struck me was no guilt. This is a very, very unusual personality trait. She shook her head, didn't she? She essentially said she's got no guilt. An innocent mother whose child is missing feels guilt in all sorts of ways because they're innocent. Okay. We've got a complete lack of maternal responses that we would expect. We've got completely unreliable denials. We've got lots of missing information. Even the detective was telling her exactly what he thought. Okay. So we've got lots of impossibilities. Most of these you can read. You don't need me to just repeat them for you. Just in this transcript, in this section of the transcript, we've got mathematical probability of not knowing approaches 0. When we look at every single statement that we analyze with Jenn, and we're probably over 10 now, if we include the media interviews that she gave. And every single one shows extreme mathematical probability of guilt. This isn't just an unlucky section of a transcript. This is every single transcript. Now, when there's only circumstantial evidence, and all we have sometimes to go on is what the person says in their own words, I personally think we're seeing from Jenn's own words evidence of consciousness of guilt and knowledge of the crime. Whether or not there's enough evidence to show that she was also involved in the cover-up and helping Stephan Sterns to move the body from the kitchen to the car, and other planning. We do see evidence of planning in her linguistics, and we see evidence of joint planning. And also we see evidence of abandoned joint plans together, and they both exhibit the same evidence. So, in my opinion, Jennifer Soto's own words contain a complete confession architecture, and in particular when she states, I tried watching her like a hawk, and I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. This, to me, is as strong as evidence in this transcript as we had in the last one, where she admits that she sent them both upstairs. So we have knowledge of the abuse, we have awareness of the danger, we have, in her words, attempted prevention. Whether that's true or whether it's not, that's what she's telling us. We have acceptance of inappropriate contact, and we have a failure to protect the child at a very minimum. The linguistic patterns in this interview section are consistent with guilty knowledge and inconsistent with innocence. That's my finding. Okay. Thank you, everyone who has subscribed and helped the channel grow so quickly in the last 3 months. It's very appreciated. And thank you to those who have supported the channel by joining as a member as well. That's been very much appreciated indeed. There are two levels of membership. One is the higher tier, where together as a team, we're learning about statement analysis and forensic linguistics in detail. And the other is a lower tier, more affordable level, where it's helping me spend the time and some of the resources that are necessary to complete some of the analysis and hopefully to analyze more cold cases and in some ways to achieve justice. So either of those two levels very much appreciated if you've already joined as a member. Also on the lower tier, it is my intention, because not everyone can afford the training in the higher tier, to release more and more of that training down into the lower tier as time goes on, obviously without taking away the benefit of being in the higher tier. Okay, so I hope that is of interest to those that want to learn more about statement analysis, and I look forward to talk with you in the comments.